Indian High Commissioner to Maldives has been asked to reach Maldives Foreign Ministry. This after India summoned the Maldives envoy after 3 ministers of the island nation made derogatory remarks against Prime Minister Narendra Modi. Now, earlier, the Maldives government suspended 3 deputy ministers over the remarks. The move comes after New Delhi officially shared its concerns with Mali over the matter. The Indian High Commissioner to Maldives has been asked to reach Maldives Foreign Ministry, and this came after India summoned the Maldives envoy after 3 ministers of the island nation made derogatory remarks against Prime Minister Narendra Modi. It was just shortly earlier in the day that we saw visuals of the Maldives envoy to India being summoned by the Indian External Affairs Ministry. And now a similar move has been carried out by the Maldives, where the Indian High Commissioner to Maldives was asked, or rather has been asked, to reach Maldives Foreign Ministry. Now, the spat between India and Maldives is increasing. There is a row between the two nations which erupted after 3 deputy ministers, members of parliament in Maldives. They made derogatory remarks against India's Prime Minister, and they have been suspended after that. On the phone line, as of now, we are being joined by our principal diplomatic correspondent, Zihan. Zihan, now a similar move, Maldives, is this some kind of a statement? Because earlier we saw the 3 MPs, the 3 deputy ministers being suspended. Of course, it seemed that Maldives was taking a firm stance, was taking some kind of concrete steps regarding India's concerns about the remarks that they made against the Indian Prime Minister. But now we're seeing Maldives is this a tit-for-tat move from their end?
Well, essentially, when it comes to firm stance, many are not believing that's a firm stance because these ministers are only suspended. Suspended means they can come back to the government. Secondly, when it comes to response of the government, the Maldives president hasn't spoken a word. In the past, when these incidents have happened, we have seen the Maldives president making remarks. Now, when it comes to the escalation, this is a clear escalation. The Maldives High Commissioner was summoned in Delhi earlier in the day, and now, of course, we see a tit-for-tat move. What is being termed as essentially he's being called, but usually the terminology usually is to mask what exactly is happening, which is basically a summoning in this case. So essentially what transpires is that is something that will be closely watched, but the relationship, it clearly, I can say, is in tatters because of the remarks by these Maldivian ministers on social media. Now, this is being not taken kindly. Now, government-to-government diplomacy is a different thing. When it comes to people-to-people relationship, this is going to have an effect. In fact, the Indian celebrities have come out. These are people, these are not normal people. These are people who are influencers, who have millions of followers. Now, saying that do not go to Maldives is going to have its impact. We have already seen some travel booking websites have said that they are not going to book to Maldives, and that is something that is start of a repercussion. Indians, of course, are the #1 nationality which goes to Maldives. I'm talking about not only monthly data, I'm talking about daily data. So essentially, it looks like it's a clear case of escalation.
Siddhant, I just want to track this back a little bit back to September 2023 when we had the elections in Maldives. And ever since then, of course, there was the move when the Maldives new president asked India to withdraw its military forces. After that, we are seeing these kind of derogatory remarks which have also come in. If you just look at how India and Maldives have India has stood for Maldives all through these last years and all through the last decades. It's what do you trace this back to? Is it a change in government which is bringing about this kind of spat from the Maldives side?
Well, the current government, we need to understand the genesis. The current government came to power on very anti-India plan. They were heading a movement basically which was very anti-India. Now, since he has come to power, he has basically said that India should go out of Indian troops should leave the country. These troops, of course, are playing an important role in terms of how there has been the evacuation efforts. Now, this is a marked anti-India stance by the new government. In the past, there have been governments, Yamin government, who have been taking anti-India stance, but never before such kind of anti-India comments have been made, not taking the protocol not being followed. So essentially, it means that it's going to have a fallout, a repercussion, and this repercussion is going to have an impact on the relationship, and this will be impacting the economy of Maldives.
Siddhant, I want to just push it a little further. I want to take your thoughts on this. Where is Maldives getting this kind of confidence from, where it is actually trying to go and take this kind of a stance against India, a nation which has stood by it all these decades?
Well, every country has a domestic politics. In the region, India is a major card, to use the phrase, when it comes to local politics. You have seen that in Nepal, you have seen that in Bangladesh, and Maldives is no different. Now, the Maldives the politics is all about whether you support India, whether you don't support India. The current government plays with the card that we do not support India. So it's basically part of politics. They do understand. In fact, the minister who has been suspended, I can tell you, she studied in India. She has been very vocal about her love for Bollywood on social media. Now, it shows that how politics has come into the relationship falling apart.
All right, Siddhant, we're going to let you go for now, but of course we will be tracking the developments coming in very, very closely. Relations between the two nations have definitely dropped. A tit-for-tat move coming in from Maldives next. All right, viewers. Now, for more on this, Maldives' former Vice President and former Tourism Minister Ahmed Adeeb spoke to our principal diplomatic correspondent Siddhant Sibal, who we were just joining via the phone line. Now, listen in to this exclusive conversation.
How do you see the developments which we have seen in the last 24 hours? The comments by sitting Maldivian ministers who are now former, and of course, the reaction by the Maldivian government.
Thank you. Actually, it's a very sad incident. I think it's something that should have never happened. And I'm glad that Maldives government took the initiative of suspending them. This is another episode where we should be always careful not to offend our neighbors and also our friendly relations. And especially their comments were very racist and also very much derogatory remarks on Prime Minister Modi. It is not acceptable, and I think there's a very sad reaction from those from the public of India as well. So because of all that, I would conclude that this is something that it should have never happened, and also that this is something that should not be repeated.
How do you see India-Maldives relationship, if you can talk about it, given that you were the Vice President of Maldives and have been engaging with the Indian government a lot?
Yes, what I see is that Maldives and India, we have so much history, and we have been always together. And during our time, it was actually during President Yamin's time where this second helicopter agreement was signed. So these are things that didn't happen suddenly, but these are diplomatic relations. There were military relations. There was investment relations. So all this were very good until 2018, when President Yamin decided, when he lost the election, to start a India Out campaign. And that party continued it, and which is now inherited by Dr. Muiz. And still there are some elements in the party that is against the relationship between Maldives and India. But I would say between the people of Maldives and people of India, I think the relationship is warm. It's just very few people, and also some extreme elements in the party. Other than that, what I see is that people to people, as well as government to government, Maldives and India should be always have to have a friendly relationship, because we are too close, and we depend on each other. So we cannot go distance ourselves.